Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Jonathan. And this is Jonathan from You're Worth More Dead Than Alive to the Narcissist. And it's another audio file. He also sent in these pics he wanted me to show of basically, I guess, where he's at. So I figured that would just overlay it. And here we go.
What's going on, Ollie? I figure I'll send you some content to do an upload on. I hope your partner's doing well. Having a bum neck is probably ain't cool, man. You know, your neck kind of connects everything, and it's kind of a weird time to be sending somebody in the hospital, because it just seems some hospitals people just don't care anymore. Anyways,
to be honest, the hospital was fine. The hospital was good. My only issue with the hospital is the check-in process. I'll probably talk about that, and I'll do another update video. But they're looking down at intake when you go in, until she said my face is paralyzed, and they finally looked up and they saw what was going on, and they rushed her right in. So that wasn't an issue. They jumped her ahead of everybody, because there was people in the waiting room. So I mean, at least I got to be honest, the hospital did the right
thing. I hope she's doing better. Hope she does well. I'll continue to pray for her, and hope she gets some more longevity, and her health improves. Anyways, I figure I'll do this kind of my story. I'm gonna sum it up as best I can, make it short. I don't know how some people can type an hour's worth of content.
I'm not a writer. Believe me, I prefer this. This is so much easier on my voice. And I think when you're speaking it, you're actually putting your own voice. You're saying it where maybe I don't read something the way it was like you would have inflected it, and if you lose some inflection on how you want to say it, I like this better. I think everybody likes it better, to be honest with you. So onwards.
On a computer, I can't do that, man. I'm more of a talking. I can talk it, and I got my own YouTube channel. It's my name, Jonathan Pacone. I don't care about who knows who I am or whatever. So anyways, so yeah, let's get started. I was born December 11th, 1984 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in a Catholic hospital. And my parents, my father was in his late 30s, I think, or 40s. He was born in 46.
Boomer.
My mother was born in 56. And
still a boomer.
I think 56, 57, something like that.
Still a boomer.
I don't know. I never could remember their birth dates, mostly because I despised them so much, so I didn't really give a shit what their birthday was. But anyways, they met in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
That is a good indicator, though. That is a very good indicator, because I never really... I knew when my parents' birthdays were, because they never shut the fuck up about it, but I never cared. It's a very good indicator that your subconscious telling you if you don't care, you don't care. Listen to it.
See, my mom's side of the family, to make it short, her dad and mom, her dad passed in 1990, 95 or 96 from Lou Gehrig's. There was 7 brothers and sisters on my mom's side, and they all fought over my grandfather's money. And
That's what boomers do. They fight over the will. They fight over the money. ALS, that's a tough one, though. That is brutal way to die. It really is.
it was not all of them against each other. It was pretty much all of them against my mother and one of her sisters. Looking at it now, it was probably, my mother was probably an instigator in it. It was right at that time when my parents divorced that she dipped out of Florida and took me and my brother and my sister up there. Anyways, my dad was he was a Vietnam vet, was a Broward County sheriff, was a Colorado state trooper, Florida Game and Fish, and then ended up becoming a pilot for South Florida Water Management. So he retired from law enforcement. Then he retired as a pilot for South Florida Water Management, or Signature.
So basically, he's got multiple state pensions. Multiple state pensions. Broward Sheriffs, Colorado State Police, Florida. So he's probably got FOP or FOP pension. He's got something out in Colorado, I'm sure, and he's getting the land management. Man, must have been great to be a boomer. Must be great to be a boomer. You just go out and all pensions, it's all stacked. It's still taxpayer money you're paying these people now for the rest of their lives. They're gonna get, okay? He's gonna get probably three separate pensions for the rest of your life at taxpayer funded expense. Awesome. And those same boomers will then look down their nose at you. Why are you fucked up? Well, gee, you took all the money already. Thanks.
And big drinker, drank vodka all the time, played golf. I remember a lot about them, my parents, my father being abusive. He would get drunk and beat up on my older sister. She's about 5 years older than me. Her name is Nicole. And my dad used to, and she had bone deformities from Vietnam, from Agent Orange. I remember my dad busting down the door and getting mad at her and beating her up and dragging her by the hair, and mom not doing shit.
I mean, I don't think you could get much more entitlement than a boomer cop. Vietnam veteran, thank you for your service. Not shitting on that whatsoever. But probably some PTSD going on with that as well. And now here's a badge and a gun and, all this fucking authority and rage, all this pent up that now he takes out on his family, on his daughter. And a pension for the rest of his life. Several, obviously.
Staying married to him for a certain amount of time. Looking back at it now, she probably stayed married to him when he got a job as a pilot, so that way she could soak up the alimony. I remember him coming home all beat up and bloody from getting in a bar fight, probably chasing pussy, being a dummy. I remember him bringing my stepmom at the time in the driveway, and my mom freaking out over it. It was just awful. I was just drinking, beating up the kids. Just a big faggot is what he was. And if somebody's gay watching this, don't take offense. That term for a lot of straight guys is to reference a dude who's a piece of shit. And only a faggot would beat up on little kids. Ain't no man. You don't call yourself a man. You put your hands on little kids.
You say it means pussy. It means you're a giant fucking pussy. And that's what he is. So he's this tough cop, okay, ex-Broward, ex-Colorado shit, and he's getting his ass kicked in bar fights. Well, probably because he's drunk and nobody can really fight when they're drunk. So that's his first mistake. Gets all liquored up, chasing pussy, gets fucking rejected, gets his ass handed to him, comes home, starts slapping his kids around. Hey man, there's plenty of boomers that did that without the need of alcohol either, or never been cops.
Have a little bit more self-control than that, in my opinion. And then I started thinking about all the creepy shit with my mother. I remember you talking about it, Ollie, about the shaking the waistline when you're wearing a belt and shit. You know, I remember that too. It was just trying to get all the boys, me and my brother, to take showers together. It was just for a little too late, you know, like you're a little too old to be doing that type shit.
Yeah, they want to check it out. They want to see what's going on. They're creepy, man. They're creepy. The generation is full of degenerates. It's just how that generation is, man. Handed everything. Like a drunk like this can go out, get 2 cop jobs and a pilot job, being a fucking raging alcoholic to the point where he's getting his ass kicked and beating his kids, yet he can get a pilot's license? He could be a cop in two different departments? Crazy.
I remember playing in the bathtub and I was like 8 or 9, and I was like sliding from end to end, and all of a sudden I heard a clamor, and I looked, and my mom and my sister and my brother, like my mom made it like it was cool to like peek at her little kid naked playing in the bathtub. It was just fucking weird, man. It was weird.
I know, man. I know. I had the creepy mother. I had the whole thing with the mother. It's weird, and you know it's weird. You know it's weird when it's going down. You know it's weird. If you call it out, then you're acting like there's something wrong with you. You're like, no, this is fucking weird. I could see how you're looking. I could see how you're putting us in this situation. It's creepy.
And anyways, so when my parents divorced, my dad talked to my brother and me, and we were twins. And my brother ended up staying with my dad. My sister and me decided to live with my mom. She found a man who was 30, living with his mom, met on a blind date from one of her older friends. And my stepdad, I will say, as spoiled as he was and as degenerate as he was one of those dudes that was really good with his hands on building shit. So that was probably the main advantage my mom took to marrying him. And he was younger than her by a lot. I mean, she was 39, 40, and he was 30. You know, when they married. And ever since then...
She's looking for a son husband. She's looking for somebody she can manipulate and control. That's all. Even better, he's good with his hands.
And my life has been kind of downhill when I was living with my mother, not realizing that, you know, if I would have known all this now earlier in life, I would have been able to sever ties with my parents, but they put on this illusion that they care about you, or you think they do, or you need them. And she'd get him a brand new boat, brand new 4-wheeler, guns, bought a big McMansion. I mean, I remember going to, you know, book sales at school, and my parents would give me like fucking $1 or some shit, and they're loaded, you know.
Well, yeah, that money's all for them. That's all for their boats and their McMansions. It ain't for you. I understand that. Man, I couldn't even get $1 to go to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee with my friends. I had to be the kid, the always the odd man out. Always the odd man out. And I wouldn't let anybody buy me anything either. Like, no, 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 no. Let me wallow in my misery. I don't need anybody buying me shit.
Uh, I remember, and I lived with my dad when I was a teenager. I was from 16 to 17 because I was going to go to the army. So I remember living with my dad. My neighbor shipped a fucking '57 Pontiac Chieftain from Hawaii to give to me as a gift, and my fucking dad sold it.
You know what it must have cost to ship a car from fucking Hawaii? Of course he sold it. Like, of course he did that. Of course he did.
What a turd. You know, and my sister didn't get along with my stepdad. My sister was turning 14, 15, 16, 17. Mom didn't want that. Mom didn't want that around. Another young female dating younger guys than the ones she's married to. Can't have any of that. You know? And my sister was a firecracker, man. But I mean, do you blame her? She got beat up and abused by my dad all the time, man. And what do you think's gonna happen? Anyway, she moved back to Florida with my dad because there was no mom and stepdad. But then she had to compete with my stepmom, and that never worked. And
well, that's the boomer, man. They make you compete against everybody. That's how, and that's one of their means of control is to keep you competing in these useless competitions that only exist in their minds.
Yeah, she ended up overdosing when she left to Florida to Vegas in '06, I think. But just had nowhere to go. Had no family to lean on. Mom was too busy entertaining her stepdad, my stepdad, and spoiling him with all the riches from alimony and child support. And here her father, when she divorced and moved out on her own, gave her money for her first home. I remember being broke during the recession, asking for money for gas, and giving me a hard time like I'm some asshole. You know?
Yes, you got it, Jonathan. You're just some asshole to the boomer. You're just to keep that. To them. You're just some asshole. That's it. To the baby boomer, you're just some asshole. That's it. That's us. That's all of us. That's everybody who's not one of them.
Just got back from overseas. Always guilted me for nickel and dime type loans from my parents. And then a couple years ago, before I blew up on the internet, blew up over my parents on the internet on YouTube. I since privatized the video, but my father sent me $5,000. $5,000. $5,000 to my brother, and then $5,000 to his brother-in-law. It's like, why did you have to give him $5,000? It's like, why would you want to tell us that? What a dick. Anyways,
just to let you know, you're just some asshole. Just to let you know, you're just some asshole, just like the brother-in-law is just another asshole. You're just some asshole when you head to the narcissistic parent. You just are.
Yeah, so I could keep going over all the fucked up things they've done. And the only lesson I got from my family, especially my parents, is what not to do as a parent. And how they will deny.
Well, that's exactly it. The only thing you can learn from the narcissistic parent is what not to do. That's it. That's what you can get from the narcissistic parent. That's what you get from the baby boomer. Learn what not to do. Learn how not to act.
to the end of how fucked up they were and never take any accountability. They would rather die with a lie than take accountability.
Yep. They will take that lie to their grave and then set things forth so the lie carries on after they are dead.
My parents got really pissed off when I went on the internet and called them all out by name and told them all that they're horrible people and that I don't want your will, I don't want any of your money, don't ever talk to me, and told the whole life story, what they did. And what started it, what really ticked me over the edge was I was hearing stories about my stepmom sending a fruit basket to family and friends, and they always thought it was inappropriate, you know, like, you could have a little bit more thought than a fucking fruit basket. You know, I can go to the grocery store and buy an apple and an orange. I mean, Jesus. And I told her that I've been losing friends to suicide. You know, the friends that used to come hang out with me, and we used to road trip to Florida. You know, because Florida was a cool place to go when you were young and in your 20s and you wanted to leave Fort Benning and go do something. And no shit, dude, I got a box of assorted Cliff Bars. That's what she sent me when I lost my third friend to suicide within a year and a half.
Yeah, because you're just some asshole. You're just some asshole. I'm just some asshole. And they keep proving that to you time into every opportunity they have. Every opportunity the narcissist and the baby boomer has to show you you're just some asshole to them, they're going to take it. Every time.
A box of Cliff Bars. Hope you feel better. And that's when it sent me off. And she's just some conservative liberal, married my dad. You know, she does something with some shit in Florida because she's got like she's a nautical engineer of some sort. I don't know. Makes big fucking money, both of them together. Hell, they had that house in Wellington paid off probably in 5 fucking years.
Wellington is not cheap. I did a lot of work up in Wellington. It is not cheap. It's not tiny houses. It's all gated communities, most of them with their own armed personal security patrolling the place. Wellington ain't cheap.
That house been paid off. And always got the answers. Always some subject matter expert knows how the whole world works. All she had to do was just marry and fuck some old man, which is my dad, and get some double-dipping money. Living some fantasy, thinking she knows how the world works.
Right. She used older dick to get younger dick and sustain that lifestyle. So your father's just some asshole to her, too. Understand that. Everybody's just another asshole to these people, even each other.
Mailing me Cliff Bars. What a fucking smack in the face, man. I could not understand why someone would send me a box of Cliff Bars. What?
Not someone, your mother, after your friend committed suicide, because everything's always been handed to her. She doesn't understand how to be empathetic. She doesn't understand about going to war and coming back fucked up and your friends killing themselves. Your father might. She sure as hell don't. And it should have been your father's at that point, whether he's with her or not. Obviously, it's probably with the stepfather. Your father should have been like, what is your You're like, these are guys who are killing themselves because of the effects of war. And as a Vietnam vet, and you send our son a box of Cliff Bars as fucking condolences, but you're just some asshole to him too. You're just some asshole, John. You're just some asshole.
What is going on in their head to think that will suffice?
Because you're just some asshole. For some asshole, a box of Cliff Bars should be pretty good. Oh, a box of Cliff Bars. Well, I'm just some asshole, so I'm glad I got anything. That's how you're supposed to think to them. That's how you're supposed to treat them.
My parents are such degenerates, man. And then my neighbors think I'm fucked up because I tell them all the time that my family are fucked up. And here their family been married. They got a family that's all living together. They hang out, watch movies together, hang out in the same living room. You know, kids get to go on, you know, guided dog hunted trips, you know, supported by the father, taught him how to be an electrician, you know, set him up for success. The daughter still has her innocence, you know, is well-mannered, you know. I mean, it's cool to see that, but they look at me as if I'm some fuck up.
Right, because they're normal. They can't understand this. They can't see it because they have normal relationship. They have empathy. They love their children. They don't view their children as just some asshole. They can't even conceptualize it. They see you growing up and you're in Wellington. You got all the house and the money. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes money and growing up wealthy or with money or upper middle class or middle class is a detriment because people just look at that. Well, how could you be a B? What are you talking about? Look at where you live. No, bullshit. It's deeper than that. And you trying to stand there, they're just going to look at you as some ungrateful little prick who's just running down his family after everything they've quote unquote done for you. It's better. Don't try to convince that. You can't convince these people of anything, and nor should you try. You're just wasting your energy. They're not worth it.
When they don't know what it's like living with shitty parents and having to raise yourself, and a lot of them, some of them are envious of it. I know that sounds weird, Ollie, but some of them, when you're able,
of course they are. What do you think we got all this fake victimization, people making up things about themselves and what they are, and all, because everybody's desperate to be a victim now. Everybody's desperate to be a victim now. And then and know who suffers? The actual victims. Because they're looking for some sort of supply or to get ahead using their newfound victimization status. There's nothing to get ahead with for us. There's nothing. There's nothing we're going to use to get ahead in life by this type of fucking behavior. You're just going to burn yourself out trying to convince people who don't understand it, never experienced it, and in some cases are jealous of it. Keep them out of your life. Stop trying to plead a case to a rigged jury.
able to struggle and pull through shitty parents and still make something of yourself, you know, and then you tell them, listen, I didn't have it as good as you. I never had an inheritance. They say, well, you think it was just, you know, just given to me? And it's like, dude, someone died, you got shit. It's an inheritance. My family been dying off, I ain't got shit. That's not an inheritance. Understand how that works? You know, you got neighbors tripping when you tell, you know, but then I realized that nobody gives a shit. You don't, and why tell them? Nobody cares. It's none of their fucking business anyways.
Exactly. But you want to be validated. You want to be validated. You want these people who know you to understand what's going on, and they're just they don't want to hear it. They can't understand it even if they wanted to.
Anyhow, you know, my brother was bad on heroin after my sister died, and he's the golden child, or the flying monkey. He doesn't admit when Dad used to beat him up. Dad used to punch him in the face, slap him, embarrass him, make him cry. I'd bring all those shit up to him with, James, you don't remember this? Remember when Dad did that? That's not cool. Complete denial, doesn't remember it, still wants to talk to Dad, even when he knows Dad is bullshitting him, doesn't give a fuck about him.
He wants that money. He's in it for the money. He's in it for the will, which he won't get either, I'm sure.
Sent him $5,000 just like he sent me $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my stepdad treated James like shit. I mean, he just had some type of weird isolation issue. And Ollie, I'm going to say this, man. I think my brother was more wrapped up in my mom getting married to my stepdad and spoiling another man than my brother. I really think it was some weird mother. It was a weird son-mother type thing, man. Like, it was just weird, dude.
Another son-husband type of situation. Yeah. And your mother created that with her creepiness.
It was just weird. Looking back at it now, I don't know why he got tripped up over Steve, my stepdad, getting spoiled. It's like, yeah, he's a younger stepdad, and mom's a degenerate boomer. Of course she's going to spoil him. What do you think? And he kind of wishes he got spoiled with it. And it's like, well, we weren't given that opportunity. And he got bad on heroin, man. Before he got bad on heroin, he was in the Air Force for 5 or 6 months and got discharged for personality disorder. And then he was calling me a couple years ago.
If he got discharged for a personality disorder from the Air Force, that means he is really fucking damaged. He is, because narcissism and personality disorders is basically what runs the military. So, you know, my suggestion is to stop dealing with your brother, because he is gone. If he couldn't cut it in the Air Force with a personality disorder, he is gone. He is gone. And it's all about the money with him too. It's all about the money.
Asked for help about how to get 100% through the VA, and man, I went out of my way to try to help him, because, you know, I've been in the military for almost 9 years, so I figured, you know, I'd help my brother out. And he got 100% non-employability and fucking told me thanks and hung up the phone, and I'd call him like a week later and he wouldn't answer. He literally got the 100% for being a druggie and in the Air Force for fucking 6 months and still gets the pill form of heroin, and said thank you, hung up, never talked to me again. What a fucking turd. Still talks to mom.
Of course, because mom turned him into a dependent little fucking son husband, which you rejected. Which you outright rejected. Mom loves him doing heroin because it keeps him a victim to her.
And Dad, he pretty much talked me into blowing up on the internet and exposing my parents, because in his sick way he thinks one less to go, so now I can get all the inheritance.
The same thing my brother did. The only reason this channel went public, okay, the way it did, okay, was my brother told me to send the clips to my parents to let them know it was here. And when I did it, he changed. I don't know what you're talking about. Lying little fuck. Yeah, the boomers, listen, the boomer monkeys are the worst. The boomers flying monkeys are the worst. They're the worst. They're the worst. They're the most fucked up.
Right? And it's just, I don't know, man. I don't see, you know, life's not fair, man. Shitheads sometimes get ahead in life. But, yeah, so anyways, I got out of the military in 2014, and I didn't start losing friends to suicide until right around 2019, 2020 is when they all started going. And man, it's just, I think back all the relationships I had, and how, you know, to my mother, none of them were good enough, you know. And then I'd split up with them, and then a year later she'd tell me they got married and had a kid and shit, you know. No, I mean, why would I want to know that? I never even brought them up no more. I'm not even thinking about them. And she got...
Because she wants you to know you're alone, and the only woman in your life should be her. That's what she's trying to tell you. She's trying to get you to build dependence on her, like she's doing with your brother.
Gotta bring up some shit like that. Fucking weird, man. Last time I was over her house, I was real uncomfortable, man. Dude, no shit. She's chilling in her house, but she was wearing fucking these nasty ass, like cotton shorts, and fucking legs looked like she'd been beaten with a bag of nickels. Shit was gross. I told her, I said, you need to put some fucking pants on, weirdo. I don't want to see that shit. It was just weird. It was uncomfortable. It's like, You know? Ain't got no fucking couth to put some pants on that are appropriate when you're...
No, they love the degeneracy. They love the uncomfortable it makes you. They love it. They love it. They love it. It's like heroin. It's like her heroin. She gets a sexual charge out of it. The light up my eye. It would light up my mother's eyes when she would like act like that. Same with her mother, my grandmother, Virginia. They get this crazy look in there. They're so charged up by it.
Son's over. Honestly, man, I think she was competing to be a success. She was competing against the daughter and her sons. I don't think she wanted any of her offspring, both my parents, I don't think they wanted any of their offspring to be more successful than them or to be just as. I think they always wanted their kids to be below them and always asking for help and needing them.
That's most baby boomers. And that is most baby boomers. They have to be the top of the pyramid at all times. Everything they do, everything they said, everything they've observed, everything they've experienced is superior to you. And it always will be. Because they have been put on this pedestal since birth. They've been handed everything, had the easiest take, the easiest life, shit handed to them on a silver fucking platter compared to all generations that come after them. Oh, yes, they have.
You know, it's just... it's a bummer, but it definitely helped me be able to gauge and vet people a whole lot more. So, I probably could do this a whole lot better put together, man. But I ain't got no patience to type it out. And I'm not going to sit in front of a computer and type out for an hour when it's such a beautiful day out here. Yeah, you know, is it messed up, Ollie, that you know, when I'm looking to date, that a big part of whether the woman has been in a divorce, involved with her parents being divorced or not, is important to me. You know, a part of me thinks if a chick's been through a divorce, a part of me doesn't want to date her. But at the same time, you know, how can I be picky when my parents have been through divorce, you know? But I've seen how people carry themselves when their parents are still married. They have a level of ease to them compared to people who have divorced parents. Divorced parents, they have a little bit of a agitation under the skin. You can just sense it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I do. I understand it. And you know, it's at this point, it's like a red flag, you know? Like, what am I getting? Am I getting somebody who's damaged? Like, no, I understand it. Is it hypocritical at the same time? Yeah, a little bit. But I'd rather not be abused. I'd rather be a hypocrite than be abused. You're better being a hypocrite than being abused.
Anyways, you know, here my dad lost a bunch of friends to in Vietnam, and was a pilot, made good money, and took me to fucking all these weird seminars and shit. I got a brick with my name in Wellington of people who served from Wellington in Iraq and Afghanistan. He put my name in a brick on the ground. I didn't even die. He just, you know, people who served, you know, whatever. So I got my name on a fucking brick in Wellington somewhere. You know, it doesn't even call.
I think there's a park or something or a monument that I think I saw that. Not your particular brick, but I think I saw where those bricks are.
I mean, it's not as if I should expect to get money from my parents. But if I was in that kind of situation that they're in financially, the way this economy's going, and I had kids, especially a fucking daughter, I wouldn't leave her stranded. Especially running off to Vegas. And, it just blows my mind, man. I cannot believe out of all the parents I could have incarnated to come on this planet, I picked one of the most narc boomer degenerates. And I wonder, do you think at one time when they were younger, we're good people?
No. No. This isn't learned behavior. Well, I mean, it's learned at a very young age. This is just entitlement. These are just spoiled brats. Again, you're just some asshole to them. You're just some asshole. Just like everybody is just some asshole. That's it. You already said it. You're just some asshole.
Do you think any time in their life they were good people? And then I think their parents were World War II generation. How did they fuck up that bad? What did they go through? I mean, my grandmother from Italy was awesome. I mean, my great grandma, all she spoke was Italian.
Because that generation, most of them dealt with World War I, some of them. Okay. Then the Depression. Then the rise of fascism and Hitler and communism and all that. World War II. Okay. So after the Depression and World War II and all that, and then right into Korea. Okay. They're like, they were beaten down. They're like, we're going to give our children a better life than we had. And they believed it. The problem is they spoiled these pricks. They spoiled these pricks, and they sucked up that generation, just sucked up all the spoils for themselves and wanted to share it with no one. And then they just took it and destroyed everything. Destroyed all of it.
I know of you were talking about your family being from Germany. I wanted to ask you this, h0le. My dad's dad was from Sicily, and my dad's mom was from Rome. And I remember my grandmother speaking Italian to my great grandma, and both those women were saints, absolute saints. They had a grace about them. But my grandpa, he was cool, but he didn't talk much. And then my mom's side, her mom's mom was from Sicily. And I don't know if it's a Sicilian thing, because my dad's dad was Sicilian, but every person I met that has that Sicilian gene is a little dysfunctional, man. I don't know if it's a genetic thing. I don't know if there's some weird mafia fucking demonic oppression going on with the bloodline or something, man. But every female that was Sicilian was fucking batshit, dude. Anyways, how did the World War II generation fuck up so bad? If they were so saintly and graceful, how did my parents come to be so dysfunctional?
Because they were handed everything on a silver platter. I mean, that generation, what's called the greatest generation, had gone through so much bullshit. So much bullshit. Having kids after fighting World War II, you're going to give these kids everything. I mean, you're bouncing back from a depression. Okay. Everything was going well in the country at that point, economically. And they sucked up the spoils. They sucked up the 50s, especially the boomers that were born in like the 40s. So they got to experience the 50s and early 60s. They really sucked all that up. It was the 50s and early 60s that really gave these boomers their entitlement. And then when Vietnam came along, they're burning their draft cards. They're spitting on soldiers, calling them baby killers. They did what they did. Acted like spoiled, rotten brats. Not that I think Vietnam. Listen, Vietnam was Vietnam. I'm not going to get into a breakdown. Vietnam was fucked up. Okay, World War II was fucked up. Okay, what we were taught about all these world wars and all these events, okay, are far from accurate. What we learned in school. Okay, there's a lot more going on than any of it. But the boomers are the ones who benefited. Okay, the 50s, the 60s was the golden years of the boomers.
I mean, they were given the best opportunity anyone could ever have. You know, and the only thing I can do now to really let them learn their lesson is let them get old and die with all that money and realize nobody cares. But my brother will. He'll hover around wanting all the guns and money because he's a loser. You know, and ain't never had courage. Was always in competition with me.
How is he gonna get? So he's so mentally damaged that he can't work, but he can have a gun. I mean, I'm very pro Second Amendment, but I mean, that would seem like a problem. If you can't be in the Air Force because of your mental capacity, I don't think you should have a gun. But yeah, that's what he's going to do. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it, Jonathan. And you better learn that lesson. Because you're just some asshole. Your brother's just some asshole to them. She's just some asshole who's giving them what they want. That's all. You're going to be just some asshole to them. You could be some asshole who lives his life the way you want to live it, or you could live your life like your asshole brother who can't even have a job now, sucking up to them.
For some reason, you know? He would rather be side up with the dysfunctional parents knowing that they caused him being fucked up and on drugs.
You don't care.
You know,
money
they learn
and
a lesson
prizes
from his brother.
There's money and prizes.
And at the end of the day, I just don't think he has the courage, and he's jealous of it. And, you know.
Yeah, like my brother. John, that's what when I call my brother a giant coward and you just like them. Oh boy, did he not like that. Oh boy, did you not like that, did you, Michael? Did you, Michael? Prick.
Messed up. It's just a silly brotherly rivalry, and it's like, no, dude. He sided with the devils.
Yep. Exactly.
He sided with the devils, and he knows right from wrong, and he chooses to do wrong.
Exactly. You know he knows better. You know he knows what the truth is. You've heard it out of his own mouth, and now he wants to deny it. Fuck him. Let them have each other. Their money ain't worth it.
And anyways, I can't think about them too much, man. You know, being out here and not thinking about them and being busy shoveling rock, digging ditches, building up my cabin, homesteading, you know, all this has been really helpful to get my mind off my family. But there are some days when I have, you know, shadow work where, you know, I'll be laying in my cabin and hearing the rain hit the tin roof, dude, and I'll start thinking about, you know, shit that happened in the past I didn't even remember, or, you know, wondering what if my parents really give a shit, and
no, they don't.
How it doesn't matter because it's always the same, no matter what. You know, and I've been through this before. I went through a year of blowing off my mother and never talking to her. You know, so I've tried this whole no contact thing before, but
so why can't you?
It's just sad that people have to go through this, and
you got to stick to it, Jonathan. You got to stick, because what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this other than aggravation? They show you every time, every opportunity they get, you're just some asshole to them.
And other people who don't isolate you as somehow dysfunctional, when you have a level of resiliency that they'll never be able to understand or captivate, ever. They'll never be able to obtain that resiliency. It's kind of a sick polarity in some way. Anyways, Ollie, I can make this a whole lot more detailed. If any of the listeners are listening want more detail on a specific story, you know, let me know. I just try not to reminisce on this too much, just because I'm all by myself out here with my animals. You know, in this cabin, in this land right now, and You know, Kentucky's been a good state to me, man. Ain't no way in hell I could live back in Florida. I know you like it there, and I'm sure Florida's a whole lot better than New York, so I give you that. I mean, hell, I was born there, and it's the most southern you can go. And DeSantis is definitely an ember that could start a wildfire of secession in some way across southern United States, which would be beautiful.
It ain't gonna be the South that secedes. It'll be the North. It's gonna be the northern states because they can't handle losing elections. It's not. We're not gonna secede. It's gonna be them. They're the ones who want to start a new country. They're the ones who want to change the Constitution. They're the ones who have a problem with the first and second and fourth amendments. It's not our side, it's their side that's going to secede. 100%. They cannot, I don't think they can handle emotionally losing another election. They can't. That's why they're all in right now.
But I don't count on any politician at the end of the day. I don't trust any of them, to be honest with you.
Nor should you. And that includes Trump.
Yeah, it's just Florida is, and that's the other thing. I don't think my dad wanted me to live in Florida because, you know, I couldn't keep up being around a retired pilot. No way I could keep up with that.
Keep up with what? You're not supposed to be in competition with your old man. And this is how they got you thinking that you somehow gotta be in competition and be no. And at the same time, all they do is treat you like some asshole. No matter what you do, Jonathan, you're just gonna be some asshole to them.
You know, here he goes to VA hospitals as like some VA rep, helping with veterans my own age, and he don't even talk to his own fucking son, and you know, doesn't even tell all these people that used to beat up on his daughter and she ran off to Vegas and died. Fucking these people, man. Anyways, birds are starting to be quiet now, and I need to make me a coffee, and this probably could have been done a whole lot better, but I figured I'd just send you a contribution and some content to upload. And Ollie, I'm from Florida, as you know, and you know, when I hear you talk and explain, and you know, a lot of Southerners don't understand it, but where I'm from in Florida, I heard a lot of people from up north with northern accents from New York, you know, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maine, shit like that. I've heard people, Chicago, I've heard people with northern accents. So, you know, Florida was a very multicultural type environment. So,
yeah, well, South Florida especially is not. It's in the South. It's about as far south you can go in this country, but it's not the South. It's not the South. It is very much like New Jersey and New York down here in the Northeast. Okay, it just, you do got some Southerners down here. You do got some lifetime Floridians in South Florida, but it's a different vibe down here. It's basically New Jersey, New York with palm trees. It is.
You know, it's you still remind me of somebody, whether in my family or somebody I knew growing up in Florida, that sounds real familiar. You have a voice, a tone, your spirit seems as if it's a familiarity, you know. It's hard to explain, Ollie, but your incarnation here, God gave you that gift to be able to have that voice and tone that people can relate to, that, you know, you sound familiar. It's just the only way I can describe it, man. And, yeah, thanks for doing what you do, man. Be grateful. Hope your partner gets well soon. I'll be praying for her. Peace, bro.
I appreciate that. And that's why I talk the way I do. I just talk in normal tones. It's why when I listen to everything or read something, it's a first run, because I want it to be natural. I want it to be like we're having a first time conversation. I don't want this to seem like this is planned out or staged, because you get more validation from telling somebody on the spot and seeing that on the spot reaction. That is more validating. At least I think so. But in your case, Jonathan, you gotta get this through your head, because you're the one who said it. You're just some asshole to them, and you're always gonna be. And that's what it is. That's what it's like being raised by boomers. You're just some asshole. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your another contribution and story, Jonathan. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm h0le Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.